So, you want to get rich. Let me tell you one thing, you need to get rich quick. Time is flying by faster than you realize, and year after year, it's only getting harder and harder for average people to get rich. Why? Think about this. In the last few years, we've seen countless crises all around the globe. Pandemics, wars, the price of goods completely shooting through the roof, making even basic necessities such as food, water, eating, a roof over your head almost inaccessible in some parts of the world. Not to mention the fact that our entire system is designed to keep you exactly where you are, broke and subservient. But luckily for you, there is still time to reclaim the freedom they stole from you. Now I know that you will have heard gurus tell you that there is no such thing as a get-rich-quick scheme. Well, let me tell you that they're wrong. It's absolutely possible to get rich quick. And in fact, it should be your mission so that you can protect the people that you love should anything happen, should shit hit the fan. But there is no such thing as getting rich easy. I mean, unless you're a 10 out of 10 girl and you've got thousands of suckers paying for your OnlyFans. But if you're watching this video, chances are it's not the case for you. Now, just a few decades ago, even your own parents struggled to acquire enough money to actually buy their own home. But with time, with perseverance, and with some hard work, they were finally able to qualify for a mortgage and own their own house. Nowadays, with the prices of real estate and of rent skyrocketing, millennials and Gen Z can't even afford a decent place to live. That's the future that they're selling you. But you know what's the worst part about it? It's all been planned years ago by the most powerful people in the entire world. And if you don't believe me, and you think it sounds too dramatic, straight out of a futurist dystopian movie, let me show you something. The World Economic Forum reunites the most powerful people on the entire planet to speak of the future of the world. You know, the same people who try to shame you for eating meat and tell you that instead you should eat 3D printed cheesecake because hey, you're destroying the planet, while they have absolutely no shame in taking their private jets. But people like you and I are not even involved in that discussion. One of their famous slogans is "you will own nothing and you will be happy." Sounds familiar? If people can't even afford to buy a home for their family, then it means that they'll need to rent, because surely renting a home will be less expensive than acquiring it, owning it. But you see, the World Economic Forum doesn't just plan on forcing you to rent a home. No. Their agenda goes much further than that. After all, they said it for everyone to hear. You will own nothing and you will be happy. We are currently experiencing what financial analysts call the middle class squeeze. This means that soon, the middle class will only be a thing of the past. There will only be the rich and the poor, the powerful and the powerless. As a kid, I felt in my gut that something was wrong. I just knew it. I knew that the things that they taught us in society and in school just didn't add up. It didn't make sense. So I decided to do some digging, and very early on I realized I wasn't going to change the rules of the game. After all, the world has been this way forever. However, I didn't have to suffer from this my entire life. Instead, I could decide which side I was going to be on. And that's the same choice that you get to make. Are you going to do like 99% of people? Put your head down and accept to live a tasteless, mediocre life and die with a heart full of regrets when you know you could have done so much more? Are you going to keep playing the victim and refusing to roll up your sleeves and do the boring hard work that you need to do to climb to the top? Or are you going to do whatever the hell it takes to make sure that you and your family will thrive, no matter what happens? The choice is yours. Now you have to understand that the richer you are, the easier it becomes to make even more and more money. Like they say in online business, going from $0 to $10,000 a month is infinitely harder, and it's going to take more time oftentimes than simply going from $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month. Because now you have capital, you can acquire assets, you can hire the right people, and that will fuel your growth. But when you're just starting out, you have none of that. Now, mainstream culture loves to tell you that you need to work hard, but in reality, none of that matters. As Warren Buffett puts it doesn't matter how hard you row, it matters what boat you get in. You could be extremely dedicated, work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But if you're just the guy at McDonald's making burgers, I'm sure that you can clearly see how this will never allow you to be free. Past a certain point, to make more money, it's not about working longer hours or working harder. It becomes about using more leverage. Leverage is the only reason why some people are able to build multi-million-dollar companies and even billion-dollar companies. An empire can't just be built with one single man. That brings me to the next point. A job will never make you rich. You need to realize that as we speak right now, some of the biggest companies in the world, like Google, Apple, are laying off more and more employees every year. And we're not just speaking about a few hundred people. We're talking hundreds of thousands of people. Over the course of years, that's millions of people impacted by that. So not only are those big corporations and big conglomerates firing dedicated employees who have families to feed, rent to pay, but with the rise of artificial intelligence, plenty of jobs in many different sectors are guaranteed to disappear completely. So the question is, are you ready? What's your plan? To get to the point where you would be able to make 6 figures a year with a job, you'd first need to get lots of qualifications. That means getting massively in debt to be able to afford the best degrees in the world. But even then, that doesn't guarantee in any way that you'll become rich. As explained by the author in the book The Personal MBA, studies have found that having an MBA did not correlate with a higher level of success and with owning a profitable business. So having an MBA did not make you more likely to become successful. What fancy schools really do, however, is that they only accept the brightest students, the ones with the most potential, and then they take credit for their success and accomplishments. But in reality, those same people would have succeeded with or without the MBA anyway, and that's how they're able to give this illusion that they create successful people. They don't. But at the same time, starting a wrong business model will harm you just as much, if not more. Gurus have told you that as long as you're willing to put your head down and do the work, be consistent, you'll become successful no matter which business model you picked. Let me tell you one thing, that couldn't be further from the truth. And this kind of mainstream BS advice is keeping you stuck. It's keeping you broke and it's keeping you miserable. Because if you're convinced that you are doing the right thing, that you are following the right path, you'll keep doing it, and so you'll stay exactly in that same situation. While those people are profiting off of your insecurities. I mean, hey, if after all hard work was the only thing that mattered, go tell the people who opened up restaurants and brick-and-mortar businesses right before the recent lockdowns. Governments printed trillions of dollars, while thousands of small businesses simply didn't have the resources to adapt to a changing market, and so they were left with only one option, to declare bankruptcy. So that's exactly why, if you want to avoid getting screwed over and get a shot at actually becoming successful, you need to start a cash flow business. Not a restaurant, not a business around your passion, a cash flow business. This means that you need to find a business that requires the least amount of money possible to get started. But not only that, it should also be a business model with low operational costs, meaning how much money you'll need to spend every month to keep the business afloat. But before you can actually start your own cash flow online business, you need to start saving as much money as possible to buy education. Why, you may ask? Because I can guarantee that the thing which is preventing you from going to the next level is a lack of knowledge. You're not making millions of dollars right now because you don't know how to do it. Lack of knowledge is the same reason why most people will stay broke forever. They weren't given the right information, so they operate from a completely incorrect paradigm. And that same paradigm is exactly what's preventing them from making more money, reclaiming their freedom and living an incredible life. Now I get it, some people will say that it's a bit hypocritical of me, because after all, I have a company in the e-learning industry. But I'll tell you this right now, I don't care if you buy from my company. Either way, we'll keep making money. But saving money like they've told you your entire life will never make you rich. All it does is feed into you this scarcity mindset that keeps you in the exact same situation. Your government tells you to save money, but they have trillions of dollars in debt. They don't even take their own advice. It's like the fat PT teacher that we all had at some point in school. It's ridiculous. So don't take advice from your parents, your teachers, or even your banker, because they have no clue what the hell they're doing when it comes to money. Now I've made a free video in which I analyze every popular online business model. Together we'll be looking at the pros, at the cons, and I'll also share with you, for completely free, the 3-step process that you can use to start your business starting today and get your first customers as quickly as possible. I'll leave the link in the description below. Now there are two different types of businesses that you can start. There's the cash flow business, which we already spoke about, and then there's the type of business which can be valued and then sold for billions of dollars. But as a complete beginner in business, starting a billion-dollar business isn't the smart way to go about things. Those businesses would typically be something like software companies, e-commerce companies like Amazon. But you're not going to be able to start a business like that unless you can find a way to get your hands on the hundreds of thousands of dollars in startup capital. And when I first got started, I definitely didn't have that kind of money, so it wasn't even an option. Starting a cash flow business will allow you to develop the skills that you need to then later on start that billion-dollar idea business and maybe even sell it for hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even billions of dollars. You need to understand that in business there are levels. What gets you to $10,000 a month is not the same thing which will allow you to make $1 million a month. And then with the money that you made from the cash flow business, you can now acquire assets and grow your wealth. It can be starting other businesses, investing in the stock market, in cryptocurrencies, in real estate. So just like the most affluent people in the world, you'll be getting richer thanks to inflation without having to lift a finger. So again, if you truly want to get rich, you need to start right now. Year after year, it's only getting harder. Remember that. I've left a few resources for you in the description below, including a free step-by-step tutorial on YouTube showing you exactly how you can start your own consulting business for less than the price of a meal, and then the free video analyzing every popular online business model so you can figure out which one is the best for you. And with that said, as always, I'm waiting for you on the other side.